Hello again, Sun Devil friends. Welcome to another in our summer series of podcasts, which you can also find, obviously, a lot of you have, on our YouTube channel with Sun Devil Athletics. I'm Jeff Munn, radio voice of Arizona State women's basketball. That is the focus of this summer series podcast. As we told you in our last one, and I hope you caught it. If not, it's right there for you on the YouTube page. There's so many things to talk about here during what is supposed to be the quiet time of year as women's college basketball teams get geared up for the new season. But around here, news is being made, optimism is high, and we want to just take an opportunity to tell you why. Number one, the optimism is so high, if you're not aware of it already. And to help us explain that and do it much better than I just did, the head coach of ASU women's basketball, Natasha Adair, is with us. Hi, Coach. I know why you're smiling. It's like
I'm always smiling.
I know you're always smiling, but I see a little bit extra, just a different kind of vibe with that smile, and I know why. Because we all wish it was November, not just because it's hot outside, because we're ready to start playing some games, aren't we?
Absolutely, Jeff. Last time we talked on this podcast, and for the new people on and for our new listeners, this is the best time right now. Go get your season tickets because I tell you, the energy, the excitement, the players are working extremely hard. Just this morning, we finished our final kind of summer morning run, and just the growth and progress. I mean, 5 weeks, and you can see body transformation, you can see chemistry, you can lean into the culture that we're building, but most importantly, it's just a group coming together in alignment of what's to come. So just really excited about where we are as a team, just what we're building. And so why I'm smiling, I'm going to keep smiling because every day I pinch myself. You know, again, I echo my staff and how hard they've worked, the players, they're 2 feet in, and just fully committed to the vision, to the mission of what we're here to do. So I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, you talked about the staff. I know that you've all been out on the recruiting trail in recent days, and we obviously can't get into specifics. But I would think that, you know, you've had so much success bringing in new players in the last couple of years, getting out and selling your mission, explaining the what you have to offer to student athletes. They've got to be as excited as you are to hear the message.
Well, there's so much to offer. I mean, let's start with where we are. Right. We're here in Tempe. We're in beautiful Arizona. There's so many things that are going on right here in our home state. But then we offer, our university. OK, there's over 150 majors. So you can be whatever you inspire to be here at ASU. And then it's the people, it's the investment. Right. They have so many resources, so many people that are right here, right at their doorstep to lean into them, to help them grow and mature. You know, it's about leading, serving, and impacting. And right, those are the areas where they're going to grow in our program. But the community involvement, I mean, we're just coming off of WNBA All-Star Weekend. And when I tell you, everyone wants to be in Phoenix. Everything is happening in Arizona. And so there's just so much excitement around our program, around women's basketball, around women's sports that, the energy is contagious, but it's just more importantly about the people here in the community that are leaning into our players and our program.
You mentioned the WNBA All-Star Game. That I know you were very much involved, the program was, in a lot of the activities leading up to and the game itself. It had to be just an incredible experience.
It was exciting. I'll tell you. I mean, we were serving in the community. We were fortunate to be a part of Tregale Wade, Dwayne Wade's sister, had an event, an Empower Her event, where our players were serving as kind of helpers for the event, handing out gifts, T-shirts, swag bags. And then what I was most proud of and what people are still talking about was when the players were brought up on stage and there was an introduction of each player, but then more importantly, a Q&A. But it was just how they represented the university, how they represented the program, and made a huge impact with over 250 youth that were in attendance. And so just the lasting impacts. There's so many young girls and just young people that look up to them. And I'll tell you, they have role models in each and every one of our players. We were able to also Wanda Durant, Kevin Durant's mother, was in town. Another event where I was fortunate to be on the panel with so many esteemed women, professional women in the business. But then another opportunity prior to my panel where our players served in just a helping way. They had a little mini clinic. And so the players were there to serve and help. And so just another way for us to get out in the community. But we started it all off by going to be volunteers, at a local pantry here in Tempe. And so any way that we can get out in the community and serve first, that's our mission of our program. And just so people can see our players, meet them off the court as well, know who they are as people and what they stand for, that's just going to bring that energy and just that engagement opportunity. That's going to drive them in DFA. That's going to put butts in seats. But I just want people to know who we are and what we stand for on and off the court. And that's to make sure we are representing the university in such a philanthropic way by giving back.
Yeah, the event itself was just phenomenal. I got to see quite a bit of it on television. And then the ratings come out, and just another great success story. The other thing that's going on right now as we speak, of course, is the Summer Olympics in Paris. And I know you've got a vested interest in that as well.
I do. Well, you have obviously Alum Promise is there on the Nigerian national team. And then selfishly, one of my former players, Nicole Anabosi, as well. So who knew that there was going to be a Sun Devil, right? That is an alum, but then a former player of mine that are now teammates. And so just to talk to both of them and one, they formed this bond, obviously, with the Nigerian national team, but to now be in Paris competing, it's a coach's dream come true. But it's also to just show that your hard work does pay off. So really happy for them both.
Yeah, and it's already been just a tremendous first 3 or 4 days of the games in Paris. And to just go back to bring it back home for a moment, and we can talk about this. I think it's not too soon to talk about this. The Final Four also is going to be coming here before we know it.
2026.
Absolutely. And this is, I've said this for some time now. This has become one of the terms is, this is like the home office of women's basketball, Phoenix, because of the success of the Mercury, the major events that have come here, the support that Arizona State has traditionally had for women's basketball. I think, among other things, when you talk about great cities for this sport, Phoenix has got to be, if not at the top, certainly in one of the top 3, I would think.
Well, I've learned as soon as I moved here, I had more family members and friends that found my number, right? That started looking up events in Phoenix, Arizona, and they're saying they're coming to see me, but Jeff, I swear they come in town and I never know where they are, right? Because there's so many things to do. My sister has been out here probably 10 times. And I will tell you, I've been other places, and I'm just calling my sister out. She did not come visit me in those places. But it speaks to what we offer. There's so many things to do, from the sporting venues, obviously, from nature, right? We're a half an hour north. You can be up in the mountains. You can Grand Canyon. I mean, there's just so many things that we offer for any fan, any person, any visitor. And so I just think that it's such a hotbed right now, just in sports, but it just offers so many opportunities for people who come in and people who visit. They always want to come back.
Before we hit a break, and we've got guests coming on the podcast today, and just a lot of things absolutely, a whole lot of them. We talk about season tickets, and we want people to go to the sundevils.com, find out about season tickets, because it's number one, it's a great value, and you're going to get great entertainment every time you come to Desert Financial Arena. But I want to give you a chance, too, to talk about the importance of the student body at Arizona State, and not just the 942 crew, boy, and they've been phenomenal. But I know how important it is to you, and I know that you place a high priority on the student body at Arizona State coming out and supporting this program.
Well, because again, it's all about that engagement, right? We want our students to be proud of our team, of our product. It's all about school spirit. And that is a big push for us. We want to get out it's August, almost August, and they will be back. School will be started soon. So look to really see us, myself and the team out helping with, orientation, helping with move-in. We want them to see our team and know that we're a part, but we need them. They're our sixth man and woman in the arena. We want to continue to make DFA one of the hardest places to play, and we need them. And so, whatever we need to do to just build that connection, build those relationships, we want them to know that we are right there in it with them. We're not untouchable. We want to be right in the mix with them. And so, we want to show our support in other ways by just meeting them where they are, them getting to know us, coach, player, and just build that relationship. So many of our players already have friends outside of the team in their majors that they meet and know along their time here. So we want to bring not only the students, but the professors, but the community. We want this to be the best experience, fan engagement and opportunity, and cheer us on to victory. So we need butts in seats. We need to sell DFA out. November 4th is our first game opening night, and that is our big push. Everywhere we go, we're in the community saying, we need you in the arena. You will not be disappointed. Get your season tickets now. Students, we need them to again, make DFA the hardest place to play.
And you're right. It starts November 4th, and it's a lot closer than you realize. And the semester, as you said, the load in for the new semester starts. It's right here. We'll take a little pause here, and when we come back, Maggie Besselink's going to join us, one of several guests today, and we'll catch up with Maggie and what she's been doing, and we'll do that next. As we continue on our Summer Series podcast, a reminder again, this is not the end of the line here. We got a couple more to go. It's because there's just so many things to tell you about before the new season arrives with Arizona State women's basketball. So check the YouTube page often, and whenever you have time, you can just go online and check out the latest through these podcasts. We have a guest. One of our first guest, Coach,
Yes.
is somebody who has been around this program a long time. And when you talk about things like the importance of fans and student involvement, boy, she knows this as well as anybody. And we're speaking, of course, of Sun Devil graduate student Maggie Besselink.
Yes.
Hi, Maggie. How's it going?
Graduate student Maggie.
Wow, whoa.
Yeah. Now, when did you got your degree? When?
I'm going to get it this summer. I just finished my undergrad officially in special and elementary education.
And you're gonna do some student teaching. I know that we've talked before. Teaching is that's the goal.
Yes, that's my passion aside from basketball. Student teaching for sure. Getting in the community as much as I can. Promote women's basketball, honestly, and women in sports.
I a little background. My dad was a teacher. He was a high school teacher, and I know what motivated him. Tell me about what motivates you about going into teaching.
Yeah, honestly, my mom's a teacher, and she's my biggest idol. And I wanted to be that teacher who could wear the high heels and like write on a chalkboard. And then it got more deep into how can I help kids who can't necessarily voice their struggles, not just coordination wise, but I mean like their thoughts want to come out, but they can't speak it. So that's when I got into the whole love for special education. And then working in the classroom, like a real life experience, was so life changing. And I am so excited and eager to have my own classroom one day.
Coach, tell us a little bit about the importance of having somebody with Maggie's experience, not just in terms of playing, but her knowledge of the program as part of what you're doing.
Well, we talked about fans, and Maggie's a fan favorite, right? Everyone, everywhere I go, right? The donors, the supporters, they just talk about Maggie, but I think it's what she speaks on right now. It's her heart, right? When you watch Maggie play, she plays hard. You can tell that she's passionate. You can tell she absolutely loves this game. She's the ultimate teammate, aside from the fact that she is just super skilled in every way, high IQ. She's a coach's dream. And so I'm spoiled because, again, raise the bar, Maggie's it. And so I just think that she is just such a connector of people. she gets it, and she makes people better around her. And so I think she just leads with her heart, and that's what makes her such a phenomenal teacher. And she will have her classroom one day, but she just is such an important piece to what we do and what we stand for. And I'm proud and honored that I get to coach her.
Maggie, I know that we were talking in the first segment about the WNBA All-Star Game. You were involved in the skills competition, I'm told.
Yes, it was so much fun. It was awesome.
Well, tell us a little bit about it. Now, I saw a little bit of the skills competition, but not the whole thing.
Yeah, so first of all, the environment was crazy. I walked in and we were a little early, parking, whatever. But and I was like, wow, this filled up really quick. And I know from like having COVID and everything, and eventually like I was like, okay, this is all for women in sports. This is amazing. And then when the event started, the atmosphere was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to put on my basketball shoes again and play. Like it was so like motivating, I guess.
Yeah.
But also Carter, our Dobo here, he hooked us up with Brittany Griner, so we got to meet her. And then as we were walking in the arena, scanning our tickets, we saw Natasha Cloud. And I was just in awe of just those women, just seeing them. And I was like, this is real, like pinch myself moment. This is actually happening. So it was pretty special.
I share a little story with you. When Brittany Griner was a freshman at Baylor, we played Baylor up in Las Vegas. And even then, she was the talk of the country. A little bit, I'll say it, a little bit like Caitlin Clark is now. And you could tell right away, this young lady is special. And she's been special ever since, on and off the court. So that had to just be a tremendous thrill just to meet her.
Oh, yeah. I was set just getting the ticket. I was like, oh, my night has been made. Seeing Natasha Cloud and then shaking Brittany Griner's hand, that was amazing.
Now, the skills company. No, Coach, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
And I just wanted to touch on that's the benefit of being here, right? And just the accessibility. My hat goes off to the Mercury family. They have wrapped their arms around us. Nate Tibbetts is just incredible. Monica Rogers, the GM, I remember her when she played, but they support everything that we do. It's not uncommon for them to see them in DFA. We saw them last year. They're excited to come back. And so this is a family here in Phoenix, right? We're all connected, all the sports entities. So for our players to have that opportunity to meet BG, to meet Natasha Cloud, like that's real. And Maggie said it, and you don't experience this in other places. So that's the uniqueness about being here and being a Sun Devil, is that our family with the Mercury family is complete, and we support one another, and we're advocates for one another, and that's what separates us from other teams and programs.
Maggie, of course, is from Canada, specifically Kingston, Ontario, and I'm glad you brought up the subject of the WNBA, because you and I talked about this a couple weeks ago at practice,
Yes.
Maggie. They're going to get an expansion team up in Toronto, and that's a big deal up there. I mean, the people throughout Canada have got to be so excited that the WNBA is coming to Canada, to Toronto, to Ontario.
Yes. No, it's huge. I mean, selfishly, I think that's the best province, but that's just me. But also just after we had the Raptors and then we have Jurassic Park and we won it in 2019, just the basketball realm has grown. And then with Canada basketball expanding and qualifying for different events around the world, it's going to be really special to bring talent to Canada, and then it'll just promote the WNBA in general.
Yeah, and it's as I say, everything that I read and hear out of Toronto is that they just can't wait for the WNBA to get there. Now, as I said, you're from Canada. Tell me about how much you've watched the Olympics.
I have watched the Olympics a lot. We're working really hard in different events. I really hope the women's team gets this next one. I think it'll be really important for them. But our men's team, just watching all this talent finally come together, I think it's going to be really special to see what they can do.
Yeah, and there are other sports, if I recall correctly, and I've been kind of tuning in and out because of my work. Didn't they have a big win in rugby? Or was it soccer?
Mm-hmm.
It was rugby.
But I think it was rugby that they had a big win. Yes.
Yeah, and I apologize for not keeping track of that, but it's like a 8-lane freeway in my head sometimes trying to keep track of everything. But yeah, and you know what? And you know, I talked about this too. I had the good fortune of being involved in the '96 games in Atlanta, and Canada did send a women's team. They did not, just say it, they did not perform very well. And I am really impressed, 28 years later, how far the sport has progressed in Canada. And now Canadian basketball, men's and women's, is one of the strongest countries for basketball anywhere on the planet.
Yes. I think there's at least one Canadian within a state of Division I basketball, male or female. So it is definitely growing.
Yeah, and it's tremendous to see. I have one other question related to academics. Now, you're gonna finish up your degree work. You're gonna get your degree in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Does that mean no classes anymore?
Until fall semester starts.
All right. So it's not going to be a deal where you're just going to go to Weather Up and that's it.
No, I can't just play with
She's still a student. She's still a student. Yeah, she's still a student.
When I was a student here, I desperately tried to make an arrangement where I didn't have to go to class and I could just go to my on-campus job, and they never seemed to agree to it. I don't know why, but they looked at my transcript. I figured looking at my transcript, they'd say, yeah, the last place you need to be is in class, but they never went along with that. Well, by the way, also, health is good?
Yes, all positive, uphill from here.
I'm glad to hear that. You can see why she's one of our favorites. Maggie, continued good health and good luck to Canada and all the good things that are going on. And we appreciate you spending time with. And congratulations on your degree, too.
Thank you.
One more thing, Jeff.
Oh, yeah. One more thing. Don't go, Maggie.
Don't go. I want to give Maggie a chance to just talk about this new group. And maybe tell our fans why they should go get season tickets right now, and what they're going to see in DFA this year.
No, please, season tickets. I feel like that's a necessity. That's an obvious. No, this group, it's really special. It's a different perspective from the sideline right now, and it feeds the want to, the need to, and even this morning with our conditioning, I'm out there and our freshman says, I got this for you. And she names another player. And I get chills right now just saying that, because that is so special. And just seeing the growth from who can lead in different ways is really, it's honestly fascinating for me to watch. And I take it and I'm like, ooh, I could use that in my classroom later. Just like different ways to see players develop. And then just the skill, it's so fun to watch. The offense is going to be crazy, and the work ethic on defense, it's going to be scary at DFA. It's going to be good.
Yeah, and we can't wait for November. And we're so glad that you're healthy and you're going to have a big part in what we do this year. Maggie, thanks very much.
Well, thank you.
And we'll see you soon. Maggie Besselink with us. Our next guest, if we're going to go in the order that Carter Kaplan, who is the Dobo and he's the best around, if I'm going in order on this, Mallory Miller is our next guest. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So those of you watching on YouTube, don't go anywhere, because Mallory Miller is up next after we take this sort of pause. We don't do commercials on these, right? We just take a pause, and Mallory Miller will be next. As we continue on our Summer Series podcast concerning ASU women's basketball, as you can tell from the screen, I'm Jeff Munn. And to the right of the screen, I was going to say my left, my right, but she's in another room. It's head coach Natasha Adair. And we have another special guest with us. And I'm really interested to hear about our next guest has done a lot of traveling, not basketball type of traveling, thank goodness, but traveling to different places. And it is our friend Mallory Miller, sophomore forward out of Aberdeen, South Dakota, who joins us. Hi, Mallory. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. I'm going to get right to this. My spies, Carter Kaplan, tell me, well, this is the one Carter told me about. You were in Belize. And I think I could swear we talked about that when you were on the Top of the Valley show during the season. And because I'm thinking to myself, the first thing I'd want to know is, how do you get to Belize?
On a plane.
I know that. I walked right into that one, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah.
But you have to fly to where?
There is an airport in Belize City.
Oh, okay. Okay. And obviously you have to connect, because Phoenix to Belize doesn't happen out of Sky Harbor.
No. Yeah, I actually flew out of home because I was home at the time. So then
Well, it doesn't happen out of Aberdeen, South Dakota either.
No, there's a connection from Sioux Falls to Miami to Belize.
Oh, wow. That's not all that bad. I was thinking you might have had to change planes 2 or 3 or 4 times. But
Yeah,
and I've been in that Sioux Falls airport. They go to Chicago, Miami, all kinds of places. What did you do there in Belize?
Well, it was a conservation trip, so that's what the studies were for. But mainly, it was like about the tropical reefs and the rainforests, and just the conservation of the land and the animals there. So we snorkeled the coral reefs and everything. We went to this little place where they were doing studies on a bunch of the fish in the area, and then we hiked a lot of the mountains too. And we had like tour guides with people telling us information about where.
That would seem to me that would connect very much to your home life in South Dakota, the things that you experience at home.
Yeah, it's kind of like the same idea, just different things. Like hands-on, I'm really into all of that.
Well, that's cool. Now, Coach, I'm going to let you just told us before we brought Mallory on what other travel she's been doing. And this one I think is just as fascinating, because usually, if I'm going to go to where I'm trying not to give it away. Go ahead and tell them, Coach.
Don't give it away. No,
Mallory, don't give it away.
Tell all the fans something interesting. And once she tells you, then I'll tell you the phone call that I got, and totally freaked me out. But now tell everyone who's listening what you did, you and your sister, this past weekend.
Yeah, so during the weekend, we drove up to the Sedona area and Grand Canyon, and we checked that out. And then we went on like a little helicopter tour of a lot of the area around Sedona.
Now, when you hear about, I was just up at the Grand Canyon a couple of years ago, and the interesting thing about it is I'm a native of Phoenix, and a lot of people just assume, oh, you've grown up in Arizona, you must have been to the Grand Canyon 50 times. No, I hadn't been there. When I went up a couple of years ago, it was the first time I'd been there in 30 plus years, because this is such a big state, and it's not the easiest trip in the world. Phoenix Flagstaff's okay. You start throwing in the Grand Canyon, that takes a little more time. But every time I've gone, I've drove. The subject of helicopters has never come up, even if I'm just taking a tour. I've been in a helicopter once. I'm not going to say it was a bad experience, but I can find other ways of transportation that would be more comfortable for me than a helicopter. However, was that the first time you've been to the canyon?
Yeah, it was.
So a helicopter probably gave you a look at things that had to be just fascinating.
Yeah. I mean, right away, even just when we were walking around, I was fascinated. It was crazy.
The thing about driving up there, and again, a lot in our audience have probably been to the canyon numerous times. When you drive up there, when you take that highway off I-40 and you're going straight north on the U.S. highway, which is just, I'm assuming that's the way you did it, even going through Sedona,
yeah,
it becomes another world almost. Once you get within about 10 miles of the village, it's like you're in a totally, almost another country almost. And it's just, it's mind-blowing in a lot of ways. And I would think that for a first-time visitor, you probably just, it was almost impossible to take it all in.
Yeah, and we also kind of went up by Flagstaff, and there's so much trees, and it was so much cooler up there. It was crazy.
Yeah, and you can tell how many people are on I-17 and why they want to go up to Flagstaff this time of year. Coach, have you ever been to the Grand Canyon?
I have not.
It's okay because, like I said, I'm a native. I've only been there twice.
That is on my to-do list. That's something my parents want to do. And so I want to make sure I do that with my parents. They really want to do that.
I will tell you that it gets you when you get into the parking lot at the park, and people are getting out of their cars, and and you hear different dialects, and you suddenly realize there are people literally, they're coming from all over the world to see this. And then you get into the village and you go into some of the exhibits, and they talk about the history of the canyon, and the history goes back millions, not thousands, millions of years. And when you see those numbers, that's the part that kind of makes you step back and go, wow. And it's just, you're right. It's a bucket list thing. Everybody should get to the canyon at least once. And I'm sure that, Mallory, you'd probably like to go back sometime real soon.
Yeah.
What would you? I want to get a little more thought from Mallory about the canyon. But Coach, tell me about the phone call, because here I have a feeling the words helicopter and Grand Canyon were in the phone call.
All that came out. Well, we talked about. She texted me and she was just like, "Guess what?" And I'm going to say this. Can I say what you said you put on? Okay.
Yeah.
So she said they have to weigh you before you get in the helicopter. So she was like, "Coach, guess what?" And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "I've gained 19 pounds." And I'm like, "Well, how do you know that?" And she's like, "Oh, because I'm getting ready to take a helicopter tour around the canyon." And I'm like, my heart started racing. And I'm like, "Please take pictures, but please let me know when you get back down." So again, I heard those rides are beautiful. I mean, that's the best way to see it. And to know Mal and Hannah, they are super adventurous. Coach A would have been completely freaked out. But, I was even more proud of how proud she was with her hard work this summer. The 19 pounds is muscle. And I can't wait for our fans to see Mal. I can't wait for them to see her on the court. I mean, just the work that she's put in over these 5 weeks, so I was happy to hear that. And so was she, but it was more about the weight, the helicopter, and the tour. So she's back here on ground, on land, and she's safe, but I'm glad that they had such a good time.
I do want to ask you, Mallory, about just a couple more things about the trip, but let's talk basketball for a minute. And Coach just alluded to it. Being out at practices as I have been, I've noticed that obviously this team has more size, more rebounding ability, more athleticism, more ability to run than ever before. You bring so much to the table in terms of rebounding and three-point shooting. You've got an opportunity to be more versatile, to do more of the things that you're strong at with this kind of roster coming into the season.
Yeah, I think having more of like a presence like Kennedy Basham really helps me, because it allows me to work on my perimeter game a little bit more, whereas last year I was kind of almost like the only option to put a big person in the paint for our team.
Is it? I guess the thing that I've noticed in watching the workouts is the practices is that with Kennedy and the other post players that are out there now, teams are going to have to at times double team down low. That frees up three-point shooters like yourself. You're going to find yourself a lot more open, I would think, this year out at the three-point line.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to have luck doubling anybody, because as soon as they double Kennedy, someone else is going to score, and as soon as they double someone else, we're throwing that thing into Kennedy again. So,
yeah, there you go. There you go.
Well, Coach, you tell me. I would assume that you'd probably like to see Mallory out there shooting more threes uncontested this year.
Well, let me tell you, Mallory has worked her tail off. And she's right. She's worked on her perimeter game. She's worked on her ball handling. She's our big guard, right? And bless her heart, her freshman year, she had to, she had to fill in where we needed her. A lot due to injuries, right? And she stepped up in those moments. But right now, she's in her true position. She's where she's comfortable. She's where we want her to be, where she needs to be for our team. But she's so right. Right now, who you're going to double? And I'm confident in every one of our players, all 5 people on the floor. They're going to make you pay for doubling anyone. We can go inside and out, and we're working on those things, but we're working on high-low. We're working on, our bigs can step out and shoot threes, right? And so I also like the versatility of our players. They're definitely working on attacking the basket. Multiple people can rebound, and we can even rebound at the guard spot. A lot of our guards can get in the mix. And so we can play so many different ways. We can play big, we can play small, we can man, we can press, we can zone. And I think that speaks to the players, and we were very intentional about who we went to go get and what we needed. But more importantly, Mallory right now I'm excited for what's to come just for her because we see it every day. And she's worked extremely hard. And so again, scouting report won't be, oh, just catch and shoot. She can rip and she can get by you. You know, if there's a switch, if there's a mismatch, she can finish that strong finish inside. She can get it off the rim and escape dribble and clear traffic. So there are other things that she can do besides just catch and shoot. But she's worked on those things these 5 weeks. And she's the player, though, that once we work out for our hour, we're in our 8 hours, 4 hours of basketball. Mallory's going to get in the gym later. You know, it's not uncommon for her to go on a weekend at 7, 8 o'clock and get more shots up because she's very intentional about what she wants her game to look like and what we need her to do come November. So just super proud of her growth. And you think she's just a sophomore.
Yeah, just a sophomore. Mallory, last question, and I'll go back to the Grand Canyon trip for a moment. Obviously, you went up there with your older sister, Hannah. The two of you do a lot of things together, and I think it's just great to see the relationship that you have with your sister. And it's one of those things, I'm sure you take time every once in a while to think about how special it is that you have somebody so close to you that you get to share all these experiences with.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it all the time. We'll just be sitting at home, and it's like, oh my gosh, we play Power 5 basketball together. We get to do all this together, and we just feel so blessed about it.
Well, we're blessed to have you and Hannah as part of the program, and we look forward to seeing you back on the floor come November. Fans, here's another reason why you need to get season tickets, because Mallory is going to, she's going to shoot, she's going to drive, she's going to rebound, and she's not alone. Everywhere. So she's going to do everything. Mallory, thanks very much. If you're going to do any more traveling, be safe.
Be safe.
Okay, thanks very much. I can imagine as a coach that might not have been the most, you might not have been all that calm getting a call like that.
It was 20 minutes, and I'm just sitting here looking by my phone like, are they done? Are they done? Are they done? But you know, I appreciate the fact that she even let me know. Right? She was so excited.
But that's, you know what? That look, let's be serious about this for a minute. That speaks to the family aspect of what you're building as a program. They, you know, Mallory took it upon herself to call you, and it wasn't so much, hey, I'm getting on a helicopter, I'll call you back in 20 minutes. She wanted to call and tell you about, hey, I've gained all this muscle.
Yes, super excited. I mean, Abby, our strength coach, she started with us in March, and Jeff, I'm telling you, she has been phenomenal in the transformation of our players, their bodies, their health, their confidence, their competitiveness. But when a player can look at themselves and appreciate how their bodies are changing, how they're growing, the work they're putting in on and off the court, that's a victory, and we celebrate all the small victories to get to that ultimate victory. And so for Mallory, I'm just so proud of her. But the on the court stuff, I'm telling you that her confidence right now is through the roof. I mean, she was never gun shy. You know that. She would go in there.
She wasn't. No, it wasn't at all.
And always ready. But we talk more about efficiencies and not just taking shots, but the efficiency of making them, and very intentional. But she has worked extremely hard, and I can't wait to see it pay off for her and for our program.
And I think it's going to, and in very short fashion. Right away when the season starts in November. All right, our next guest is Nevaeh Parkinson, who is a graduate transfer to this program and a great story to tell as well. And we'll do that as soon as you give us on YouTube there a little bit of a break. No commercial, we just need a second to catch our breath. We continue now with our Summer Series podcast about ASU women's basketball. I mentioned a few minutes ago that we will have more podcasts coming. We'll go over the dates. When to expect more podcasts coming up a little bit later on. But we have there's so many new faces on this roster, Coach, that our next guest is a graduate transfer who brings you not only size but immediate experience to this program. And I'm going to let you talk about Nevaeh Parkinson for a few minutes before we say hi to her.
Well, Vea, I listen, I'm beaming from ear to ear because not only does she bring just experience, she's a leader, she's mama bear of the group. I mean, she leads with her heart, she leads with love, she cares. And it's almost like as soon as she steps on the court, again, here's this competitor. She's fearless, she's relentless. You feel her presence. I mean, her impact was felt right away. And what we needed, as we all know, we needed that force inside. We needed that toughness inside and that toughness around the rim and that grit. And also, she comes with NCAA experience, right? I will, she knows she's a winner. I mean, point blank, and she knows what it takes to win. And so she's the complete package. If I had to describe her for what we need for our team, on and off the court. I mean, we were super blessed. I was blessed that we were able to get her to say yes. But more importantly, you want to go somewhere where you're needed, where you're going to be valued, where you're going to be respected and appreciated. And all she will experience all those things from us and more. But she just checks off every single box of what this team needs. And I'm so excited that she's here and she's a Sun Devil.
And so are we. Nevaeh, welcome to our podcast. It's nice to see you.
Hi, nice to see you all.
Now, you just heard what Coach had to say. When you met with her the first time, just tell me, how quickly did she win you over?
I think I knew I was going to commit after like the first day of my visit. I just wanted to
And
make
she
sure.
made us wait. She's telling me this is
Okay,
the
we're
first
getting
time
some inside info here that only people who tune into this podcast are going to get. Go ahead, Coach.
and she made
I
us
did.
wait. I'll tell you.
Did you make them wait?
Yes, I did.
All right, there we go. Headline news right there. Why
Honestly,
did you
it's
make them wait?
It's like this is my third school.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
you
so-
wanted to be sure.
Yes, and so previous times I've made quick decisions and kind of didn't get to look at other places and make sure I can be able to compare and contrast, and just to make sure that I feel comfortable with the decision made. And so this time around, I was like, okay, these people want to have visits with me, so let me just at least try to take them, even though I was tired and I didn't want to take them. I just want to make sure that I covered every ground just to make sure that I was making the right decision. And everywhere I went, I was comparing it to here. And I was like, well, they did this on my visit, and they didn't do this. And I'm like, I don't know. And then I think like another school wanted to make an official visit schedule, like I think right after or right before I called Coach A to tell her I committed. But I was just like, I kind of told them like, I think I've already made my decision. I don't think any other place is going to top it. So after that, I just called Coach A and told her like I was going to commit. Then I just called everybody else and told them that I wasn't coming.
Well, I got to tell you, number one, I'm impressed with the fact that you took a very measured approach. You took your time to make the right decision. But, Coach, that's got to make you feel pretty good, too, that she's out here at these other programs that are talking to her, and she's comparing them all to Coach A, and none of them are measuring up.
Well, I think it's more than just Coach A. I think it's everyone, right? I think it's our program, our coaching staff, our support. It's all encompassing. And I think that's the benefit of when we bring players in, prospective players. We talk about the family aspect. We talk about the resources. We talk about the people. It's not just one thing, right? There's a multitude of things on everyone who leans into Nevaeh's growth and development on and off the court. And that's the beauty. That's what we sell, right? We're going. Nevaeh is good, so she listen. We're going to recruit the best players, but I think it's the other things that come out of this, right? Are they the best people, right? Do they come with great character, integrity, a work ethic, and are they winners? I mean that's for, she knows what it's like to play in March. She knows what it's like to win a championship. She knows what it's like to do it on a high level. And so I just and then it was her, the person, right? And just who she is. She's so modest. She's not going to toot her own horn, but I will. And I'm just super proud of how she's going to make us better. And that's the thing. It's a piece to the puzzle to create this masterpiece. And she was what we needed. And the one thing I tell players, go out, right? I know who we are, and I'm confident in who we are. And it was great, to your point, for her to go out and compare and talk and think about it, pray over it, and realize that this is home.
Nevaeh, let's talk about you've had opportunity to get on the court now quite a bit with your new teammates at the Weatherup Center. You have to be excited when you look around and see all the different things that this team can do.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just really exciting. I just think that for me coming in and being in a new program, sometimes when you're coming in with new people, you have to rebond, and you have to rebuild, and you need to get through the tough time, and it's rough patches with learning, and for people learning new things and new plays and new lineups, whatever. But I just think that, like, with the experience that Coach A has brought and the coaches have brought, I think everybody kind of has like everything already set. Like, everybody already knows what they're doing. If we teach something within the first day, everybody gets it. When there's coaching, when there's people making corrections, there's no moaning and groaning. It's just, okay, coach, I got you. And they go and do it. I have been to many programs where it wasn't the case all the time. And so just to kind of see that, and just to see how much everybody works together and how much fun we have, like, it's a breath of fresh air, and I'm really glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, and the other thing is, obviously, with the depth on this roster, you're not being asked to do things alone. You've got you're a 6'3" post player, but you've got plenty of help in terms of rebounding, triggering the transition offense. So it's also, I'm certain, very exciting for you to consider the prospect that you're not going to have to carry a burden. You've got so much help around you.
Yes, I mean, I just think that everybody wants to help, everybody wants to win. So it's great to be a part of that, and be a part of people that actually want to make the effort and want to try. And so I'm excited.
Now, I'm going to give you a chance, because you haven't had a chance to talk to our fans yet. And yes. Coach A and I have been kind of talking to the fans about, okay, this is why you need season tickets. I'm going to let you do that for a minute. Talk to our fans a little bit about why it's so important for them to get season tickets and fill up Desert Financial Arena this winter.
Most importantly, I just think that, one, you just need to come just to see the new faces, just to come and scope us out. And, if you don't like what you see, then you can leave. But I guarantee you won't feel that.
No, you won't leave.
You won't leave, because there's just so many different aspects. A lot of different people bring a lot of things to the table, from personality, from skill, from leadership. Like, there's so many other things that people bring. It's not just one thing. Everybody at least brings 2 to 3 things. And so that's a main aspect to come and just to check us out. But most importantly, from what I've seen in workouts, and like, we're a fun team. Like, we get after it, we get hyped, we get excited, and not just us, the coaching staff too. Like, the coaching staff is hyped just with us. One day, like, we had a whole, before practice even started, we had a whole dance circle before practice even started. Like, I haven't been a part of somewhere I can feel free and feel comfortable like that. And so I think that that's going to translate to the court, because we've already created that bond, and we haven't known each other for that long. Yeah, I'm just excited. I'm just also excited just to be able to play for Coach A. Like, I haven't played for a coach like Coach A, or any of the coaches here. And I think that a lot of the people that came in with me can agree. And so just to be able to kind of give her the team that she wants, give her the wins that she wants. Like, and we want to win, but she wants to win more than us, and so why not do it for? Why not do it for?
Win.
Yes, absolutely.
Bad, y'all. Coach A wants to win bad, so why not give it to her? Because she's worked so hard to get here, and she's done the work to get here. And
I would absolutely
she's just
agree.
A great, phenomenal coach, and I haven't really, haven't known her the longest, but I'm excited.
Well, I would agree 100%, Nevaeh, and I've said this to Coach myself, that we're anxious to see the kind of team, a Coach A team, and that's what we're going to get this year at Desert Financial, and another reason why our fans should get season tickets. Before we close things out, graduate student, your degree work is in what?
Psychology.
Oh, outstanding. Outstanding. Now, after basketball, what is Nevaeh Parkinson going to do? And we hope the end of basketball is a long way down the road.
Yes, basketball. I feel like basketball is going to go on for a couple years after.
It should.
But honestly, my thing is wanting to help people hands-on. So my first major was exercise science, but then I kind of figured out that I wasn't really interested in that. So I'm thinking, what else could I do to be hands-on with people and kind of help people, not through their phone, not through a screen, but directly. And then I kind of just thought about the things that I deal with and the things that I needed available to me. And the thing that I thought about is sports therapy, sports psychology. Like, that's a big part of the sports today, but no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. The exercise, in terms of exercise, one of the biggest keys to being successful in any kind of exercise or exercise therapy is right up here. And so those two tie together. I just can't tell you how excited we are to have you in the program, Nevaeh, and for all the reasons that Coach mentioned. And November can't get here soon enough, and I just I wish you continued success on the floor, all the things that you're doing, and we look forward to seeing you in action come November at Desert Financial. And thanks for joining us today.
Thank you guys for having me.
See, she's got it. She's got
Good
it.
job.
Very well
And
done.
Jeff, that's 6'4", Nevaeh.
Oh, 6'4". See, now they printed this out wrong.
That's wrong. 6'4".
Okay, so all of our opponents who are watching this podcast, she's 6'4", just in case,
6'4".
She gives you something else to worry about when you're game planning against ASU. We have another a new addition to the program that we're really excited about, and I had a chance to meet her about 6 weeks ago, Makayla Moore, who's going to join us. So give us a moment to get things reset, and Makayla Moore will be here next. The fourth and final guest on our podcast today is somebody I had the pleasure of meeting when we gathered at the ASU Art Museum back in June, Coach, for the Juneteenth event. And I kind of joked with her, it's like, you came down to the desert from Seattle? It's a little bit of a change in climate, but I know how excited Makayla Moore is to be part of this program, and I know how excited you are, Coach, to have her as part of this program.
Absolutely. I mean, when we found out that Makayla was available, right? The things that we were looking for, toughness, right? Competitiveness, winner, leader, worker. I can just go on and on and on. Makayla checks off every box of how to do it and do it right and commit to it. She's a winner. She's a worker. She's a great teammate. She's a great person. She's an example that you want to follow. I mean, there's so many intangibles. And so it was a no-brainer. And I'll tell you, I don't even know if I've told Makayla this. Maybe I did. I watched a video because I'm very thorough. Like, I know if they can play, but I want to know who they are as people. And I had some inside people who know her, who know her family. So I kind of know the character without even really talking to her yet. But I watched a video and it talked about her rebounding. And that's one of my big things.
Yes.
It was why she's such a good rebounder. And I think it was more about it being a competition in practice. And then, she won that competition, but then it became a habit. And so she's intentional in everything that she goes 100%, 110% in everything that she does, and just as an ultimate competitor. But when I heard her say, you know what, I wanted to win, right? I wanted to compete. And it wasn't all about scoring. She can do that in her sleep, but it was about the other things that help teams win. And so knowing what we need and knowing where that was super important for us, rebounding, big guards, rebounding the ball. I just, aside from her skill, aside from her leadership, aside from who she is as a person, that was just another intangible that she said, you know what, I'm going to take pride in this because it's important. And she has not disappointed. I'm telling you, there's not a day that Makayla is around our program, around anyone within our program, that doesn't highlight her as a person first, a leader second, a worker third, and just an ultimate competitor. So again, I'm happy that Makayla said yes.
And so are we. And with that, Makayla Moore, welcome to Sun Devil. Well, Sun Devil women's basketball. You've been around, but welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
I am curious to know, first of all, when you hear Coach go on and on like that, that's got to make you feel pretty good.
Yes, absolutely.
When we just had Nevaeh on, and she said that very quickly after meeting with Coach A, that was it. This is where I'm going to go. What was your experience like? Was it, meeting Coach A and that's it, we're going to Tempe?
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with Bea. I mean, this coaching staff, all of them, like not just Coach A, but everyone she brought in with her, they're amazing. The way they talk to the players, the way they communicate on the floor, off the floor, it's great. It's such a change. Like me coming from a mid-major program to now a Power 5, like you can tell it's been a huge difference, a huge jump. Obviously, way more professional. But overall, like it's just what I came here for, because seeing how the coaching staff is with their players, my official visit, seeing how they were, it was almost immediately I knew.
Yeah, and now you didn't.
She made me wait. She made me wait.
Here's another one that she made you. You made her wait.
Yes, she did. Now,
what is this?
It's coming out. I don't know.
Why did you make her wait, Makayla?
I mean, it was in March Madness, so the coaches, they had just flown out, so I didn't want to distract her from all her meetings and stuff like that. I gave it a day.
Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice, Coach?
She was being considerate, but I'm just like, hello. Is she gonna call me back? And hoping she did.
And that gives you a little insight into what kind of person you talked about, the high character of Makayla. She waited because she didn't want to distract you. Isn't that? I like that.
Makayla's going to process it. She's going to evaluate it. It has to make sense. I already know. She is super analytical. She's not gray area. She does not live in gray. This is what it is. Am I right, Makayla?
Yeah.
Okay. See, 5 weeks together. I'm trying to figure it out. Here we go.
There you go. Yeah. Now let's talk a little bit about. I kind of joked with you that day at the art museum about how you were dealing with the heat. You were born in San Jose. You were at Seattle University prior to Arizona State. You dealing with this heat okay?
Yeah, definitely. All sunshine, going from the rain. It's been great. It feels like a vacation every day here. I mean, I've gotten pretty used to it. Today I wore sweatpants, and I got a little wind of it from Carter. He was like, "Why are you wearing sweats?" And I was like, "I just wanted to today, Carter." So I think I'm dealing with the heat pretty well.
Well, that's good to hear, and it is a little bit of a change from growing up in the Bay Area or being in Seattle. At Seattle University, you're in the WAC. So I know you came down here with your team to play Grand Canyon. So it's not as if you weren't familiar at all with the Phoenix area. But I'm also curious to know how much you knew about Coach A's program before you got to come in contact with Coach A.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't know much about ASU. I had tuned into a few games just because I had a few friends on the UW team, and I was like, might as well watch. And I was really impressed. It was they beat UW twice, and they played really well. It went into overtime. I want to say it was double overtime. I'm not exactly sure. The game went into overtime, and they played hard. They played competitively. It was a great game. Both teams are scoring, but it was really the defense. I was like, wow, they're locking some players up. They were hitting shots when they needed to, getting big steals when they needed to. The momentum was shifting. And I was like, that's a team I would play for.
I'm trying to remember, Coach. Was it the game in Seattle that went overtime? I don't think it was, because I would remember that we were in a hurry to get to the airport if that was the case, and I don't remember that.
It was here.
It was the game here. See how my mind works, Makayla? I would know if a game went overtime as if we were in a hurry to get on the bus and get to the airport. Certain things I have priorities with. But tell us a little bit about the time on the court now at the Weather Up Center, working out with this incredibly deep roster. And you have to be very excited to be in a situation. You talked about going from a mid-major to a Power 5. I would think one of the things that has impressed you is just looking around on the court and seeing all the talent.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have so many pieces. I think our roster is so deep. I think just coming in, everyone has a role, and I think everyone's so excited to like be part of that role. Like everyone's looking to build relationships on and off the floor, and you can see that in practice. We're having fun, we're joking. Tune into the Instagram to see that. Yeah, I mean, it's so fun to play with players that want to be on the floor, that are getting time on the floor after practice. Like everyone's in the gym all the time. It's so great to be part of this.
Yeah, and we are in late July. The season is still 3 months plus away, but that's something I hear consistently from newcomers, from holdovers from previous years, that as they look at this group right now, they're excited about going to the Weather Up Center every day. They have fun, they enjoy themselves. And we still got 3.5 months to go. I think it's a really good sign that you have this kind of connection and camaraderie. And you haven't been here very long. And there are a few players around that are just joining this program, but yet the bond seems really strong.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we're doing stuff on and off the floor like constantly. Like every day we're talking about, I mean, let's go get some food. We're always talking about food here. But yeah, I mean, we just all love each other. It feels like a sisterhood already. It's a great family, and I can't wait for the rest of the season if we're already this close in July.
Tell me about your game. When fans see you play, what will they notice about you right away?
They're going to be like, wow, she plays her, she works very hard.
Well, we know what you meant.
But yeah, they're going to be like her hustle, her intensity, just my intentionalness on the floor, I think, is what they're going to notice.
And going to a Power 5 program, I know that the mid-majors, especially in basketball, you're going to see your share of Power 5 opponents in non-conference. But going to a program that is joining the Big 12, you're going to see Power 5 competition pretty consistently. That, too's got to be something that you're excited about.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a fever dream. Like every day I'm so grateful I'm here. Like I think about it, I sit in my room like, wow, I really get to play like this team. I really get to play them. Like I just had been watching them. I love watching basketball, and I'd been watching them on my television, watching these Power 5 teams play, and now I'm part of it. So that's just like such like a grounding moment. Like I feel so humble to be part of this. So grateful that Coach A gave me this experience, and I go with this for 2 more years.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and that's something to be excited about as well. Let me also ask you: did you have a chance to participate in the WNBA All-Star activities that were in town a couple weeks ago?
Yes, I did. I went to the Skills Challenge, and we got to meet Natasha Cloud, Brittany Griner. We got to watch just some WNBA players, and it was great. I know we have 3 potential WNBA prospects on our team. So that's going to be
more.
And I hope, yep, I'm going to watch them or maybe be on that floor.
Be one of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the WNBA Skills Challenge is great.
And that's one aspect of this, and Coach and I have talked about it a couple of times, to have the ability to go to the Footprint Center and see the world's greatest players every time the Mercury has a game, whether it's their own players, the Diana Taurasi's, the Brittany Griners, Natasha Clouds, but the other teams that come in. That's a real treat for any women's basketball student athlete to be able to consistently go and see in person. We can all see them on television, but we all know how much different and how much better it is to see these players play in person.
Yeah, I mean, it is so much different. Like you get to hear them, you get to see how they interact with each other on the bench, you get to see what great teammates they are, you get to see how no matter how many minutes someone is getting in the league, they're all hyping their teammates up. They're all so excited for each other. And I think that's something that we have. I think from watching those games, like we're always hyping each other up. Just like we rewatch practice film and you see someone make a shot and everyone's jumping up, whether they're on the 3-on-3 team or they're not. Like it's just that intensity and that excitement that I think we can kind of gather from the Phoenix Mercury.
Lastly, tell me about the academic side of things. And I'll ask it in this respect. As I said, you and I met at the ASU Art Museum, and there are so many things to the ASU experience academically that aren't confined to the classroom. So as you've gotten on this campus, I would think that it's been quite the experience to just take in everything that this campus offers.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the first thing I noticed was how big it was. But
Yeah.
the academic side of it, I'm taking a political science class right now, and I'm really enjoying it. I mean, the professor's great. The communication with the professors and the student athlete is amazing, and we're really diving into. I could go on and on about political science, but I won't do that to you, Jeff. But, I mean, it's great to be part of. I think I'm really focused and honed in on the academic side. So coming here, even though it's summer, I'm really trying to walk into that.
Well, we are excited about having you as part of this program for a whole variety of reasons, not just in terms of the basketball, but what you bring to this program personally, your character, your integrity. We're so excited to have you here, and we thank you for coming and spending some time with us today. You go ahead and wear whatever you want. Don't let Carter tell you what you're supposed to wear.
Well, and Jeff, she has to tell our fans why they should get seats.
Okay. Go ahead. That's right. I'm glad you reminded me. Go ahead.
Everyone has told their version of why. Makayla, you are on. Tell your version of why fans should buy their seats.
That's right. Yes. Thank you. Why should they come to Desert Financial?
I think they should come to Desert Financial because we're going to win. They want to see a winning team. Like, that's it. It's as simple as that. If you want to see good basketball and you want to see the home team win, come to Desert Financial.
That's right. What better sales pitch than that? So, hey, that's there's no other way that you can't top that. Makayla, thanks very much, and welcome to the Sun Devil family. We're glad you're here.
Thank you, Jeff.
Makayla Moore with us. Coach, in just wrapping things up, we are going to have a couple more of these podcasts before two more of them. So we've got a lot more ground to cover. But let me just wrap it up this way. We've been talking a lot about the WNBA, the All-Star event that was here. You touched on this earlier in the podcast, and I want to give you a chance to talk about the relationship that your program has with the Mercury. It's really something special, and you talked about the fact about how they have been so proactive in connecting with you, and that's I just want to give you a minute to talk about that.
Well, I think that's important, and you use the right word, proactive, but I think it's more relational. I think it's intentional. To even last season, when Nate Tibbetts comes in the building with his staff, just to introduce himself, and then we turn around All-Star Weekend, we were able to tour the new practice facility. Monica Rogers, someone I've known since she played at the University of Virginia, but it's all about relationships and making sure that we are a family. When their season ends, we want that crowd and those supporters to come over to DFA. We're the sister schools to one another, if you will, and we don't want to skip a beat. We want to keep that same momentum. But I think it starts with us. I mean, we're talking about community initiatives that we can do together. We can talk about how can we partner on a lot of things locally. And so it is not transactional. It is very intentional about continuing to grow the relationship. It's important. Makayla said it. It's nothing like being able to go 20 minutes down the road to Footprint Center and take part in the WNBA, All-Star Skills Challenge. How many people can do that? How many people have that access? How many people have those opportunities and relationships that they foster in and out every day? And so we do. And that's the beauty of the relationship and continuing to grow the relationship, but also the opportunities for our student athletes to connect, to engage, right? I mean, how many people say, okay, I have a picture with Brittany Griner, or I was able to have a conversation with Natasha Cloud, or I'm able to just talk to them about just the different aspect of maybe what it takes to get to the next level. What does it take to be a general manager? What does it take to, whatever the opportunities are? I mean, they're in-game activities. I mean, there's so many things that we draw from our relationship on how we can continue to build on our end, how we can continue to grow our brand. And also, we have teams, incoming opponents that are playing the Mercury. We host them in our facility.
Right.
We've seen pictures on Instagram. I'm sure our fans have seen it, where the Dallas Wings were here. We are the practice facility for all the visiting teams, men or women's. And so not every program in the country can say that, but we can. And that just speaks on location, right? It speaks on proximity, relationships, and just being proactive, as you use that early, to make sure that we continue to grow. So I'm super grateful of the relationships that we're building and that we have.
Yeah, and it's a very special relationship, and I know that too from Vince Kozar on down. What a tremendous organization and how helpful they've been to you and your program. We've got a lot more to get to in these next two podcasts, and I can't wait to talk more with you, and I'll see you at practice. More. But I'll just finish this the way I started. I see you do smile all the time, and you're one of the great positive people that I know. But because of that, a lot of us close to you are saying, yeah, we can't wait for November, just kind of what Makayla said, because we're going to win. And we're rooting for you and for the program. So that's why, it's something that's important to those of us who've gotten to know you over these last 3 years. 3 years? I've lost count.
Two, start
two. Two, started three. Thank you.
It's okay.
Math is one of my. It's tough for a guy who broadcasts basketball and deals with stats to say I have a little trouble with the math, but it is the start of three. But it is. It's important to us who know you, who have gotten close to you and have great relationships with you, to see this program going in the direction it's going, and we can't wait for November either. So I'll talk to you in a week, if not sooner. How's that?
I love it. Well, and before we sign off, a lot of the reason that it's going in the direction are the people. And so, you're able to amplify the voices, you're able to tell the stories. And so for that, I say thank you.
Thank you. And fans, if you haven't gotten season tickets yet, Makayla said it. Go get them, because we're going to win.
Maggie said it.
That's right.
Said it. Mallory said it. Nevaeh
said it. So I don't know what more you need to convince you to go on to the sundevils.com, but do so, because you want to get the best seats now while you got the chance. Coach, as I said, we'll talk to you in a week, if not sooner, at practice, and I can't wait for our next podcast.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jeff. Go Devils.
Thank you. Go Devils. Thank you, Coach. And there we go. I got it on camera this time. For those of you who are joining us on YouTube, just keep tabs on your social media accounts, because we are going to have another edition of the Summer Series podcast coming very soon. And all you have to do is just stay with the Sun Devil women's basketball social accounts, social media accounts. For the latest info. For now, though, we thank you for joining us, and thank you for being a part of the ASU Summer Series podcast.